Avdiivka is a settlement from outskirts of which you can see occupied by Russian army Donetsk. In early October, Putin's forces began attempting active assaults on the city. This kindergarten building was renovated before the outbreak of the full-scale war. The children had never time to enjoy the fresh renovation and new toys. Today, all families with children have evacuated from Avdiivka. Schools and kindergartens were broken, and staying in the city is extremely dangerous.
It happens. Sometimes we're afraid and sometimes not, and we enjoy a day like today.
Today is quiet.
Yes, but far away there's gunfire, and sometimes the walls in the basement shake.
Mykola shows his house damaged by an airstrike. The whole entrance was destroyed. The man himself was in a neighboring building at that moment.
Well, it was a strong shot. There was even some rubble.
And you were in the basement at that moment.
In the basement, and my wife Tamara was at home, but then she felt it and went down to the basement. I remember it was 9:15 in the morning.
Such shellings have become more frequent nowadays, Mykola says. Recently, the entrance to a neighboring house was also destroyed. Everyone who could went to pull out the fire.
Only a fool is not scared. Actually, maybe even a fool would be scared here.
But you are not considering evacuation as an option.
Where to? I've got my entire family in the graveyard here. My both parents, the eldest and middle siblings as well. The two little ones. There's no one else left except me. I am alone, an orphan. Where can I go?
Now the man is preparing for winter. He has already arranged the basement, installed a fireplace, and is preparing firewood.
Look how much I've got there.
Everything that's destroyed?
Yeah, the balconies were broken and they were lined with boards. So we will use these boards to set fire. The more we have, the better.
Because of the constant Russian attacks and the fact that 22 kilometers of the highway on the approach to Avdiivka is in full view of the enemy and is constantly being shelled, volunteers have not yet brought humanitarian aid here. But people have enough supplies. For example, Tamara has 15 kilograms of cereals. They bake bread themselves. The woman lives together with her son and daughter-in-law.
Here is a stove and a gas cylinder. My son has connected everything. We cook food here, mostly baking bread, buns and things like that. She is good at this. This is our only option since there is no other way to get bread.
Tamara's flat was damaged as a result of recent shelling by Russian army. Now the woman and her children are planning to spend the winter in the basement.
Look, it's all gone. It was my lodger. This is the furniture that was there. My son took it all away and cleaned up a little. This was a children's room. Look at all this.
Today, about 1,600 local residents remain in the city's basements and shelters. All of them refuse to be evacuated.
The situation there is very tense. So far, nothing has changed fundamentally since the 10th of October. There is an aggravation and it continues. The second wave of this aggravation is now underway. The enemy is trying to storm our positions in the south and north of the city 24/7. Barrel and rocket artillery is working around the clock, targeting both the positions of servicemen and the city. There are huge destructions. As far as the humanitarian situation is concerned, the city has reserves of food, hygiene and medical supplies for 2 to 2.5 months.
Local authorities are urging the remaining people to evacuate while they can.
We evacuated 11 people the week before this escalation. Since the first day of it, last week, we took out 19 people. Then it was relatively quiet for 3 days and no one wanted to leave at all. I hope that people's instinct for self-preservation will work, because the main thing in this situation is to survive, and everything else comes later.
Ukraine's armed forces continue to strike Russian troops near Avdiivka. According to Ukrainian Defense Minister Ruslan Umerov, Russia has already lost about 4,000 soldiers near Avdiivka, which is the largest Russian losses for the current year. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Anastasia Volkova, Artem Voronin, UATV News.